Hi guys, welcome back to another day of vlogmas. This is going to be another sit-down video. I wanted to go over all of my favorite and my least favorite books of 2024. So at first I was like, I'm going to pick 10 of my favorites, 10 of my least favorites, but as I was going through my Goodreads, I only rated 5 books this year 5 stars. So I decided I'm just gonna go over all of my 5-star reads for my favorite books, and then I picked 5 books for my least favorite. So we're just gonna go over all of them. I'm sure I read a lot of these in reading vlogs, but I mean, some of them could have been back in like January or February. So we're gonna go over all of them. I'll tell you why I liked them, why I didn't like them, if I think you should read them, what I rated them, and yeah, just all of that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I have all of the physical copies of the books that I read right here beside me, so I'll hold those up. And then all of the ones that I read on my Kindle, I will put a picture up on the screen of what the cover looks like. So we're gonna start out with all of my 5-star reads. The first one is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read that this is the first book in a series, and I read this book a few months ago and absolutely loved it. It was the perfect mix of like, I don't know, suspense. It was such a good, I don't even know what it's classified as. If it's a thriller, I wouldn't consider it a thriller. It's more of just like a mystery. But this book is about these kids, I think they're teenagers, but they all have these like special abilities, nothing like supernatural, but they have the qualities of like an FBI agent. They're very good at figuring things out, and they have like gifted minds, if that makes any sense. And stuff ends up kind of going down when they're working with the FBI and like learning from them, and it's just a really good, yeah, like suspense mystery book. I fell in love with it. I actually have not continued the series, so I need to do that, because at the time only the first book was on Kindle Unlimited, but I think they're all on there now. So need to finish the series, but I absolutely loved that book, read it in like a day or two. Okay, the next one should come as no surprise, but it is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I can't even believe that I read this book in 2024. I read this back in January. It feels like a lifetime ago. Like, I genuinely was surprised when I learned that I had read this year. But this book is so thick, like trying to hold it again. I do not remember it being this thick. I don't even know what to say about this book. This is the last book in the Throne of Glass series, and it was just one of the best books I've ever read in my life. I cried. I had happy tears, I laughed, like everything about this book was just perfect, and it was such a good way to end the series. And I need to do a reread soon. And that's pretty much all I have to say, because I feel like everyone knows about this series, and it is just the best series, the best ending to a series. So the next two are actually in the same series, and it's funny because I'm now, as time goes on, getting the 2 books mixed up, but that is Long Way Down and Some Kind of Perfect by Krista and Becca Ritchie. These are the last 2 books in the Addicted series. I think it's the last 2 books. I know that one of them is the last book in the series, but I can't remember if they're both like the last 2. But this series was one of the best series I've ever read. I fell in love with it. I read all of the books. There's like 8 or 10 of them. I read all of them within a span of like 2 months. They were just so good. And like I said, I'm kind of getting the books mixed up now, just like the Harry Potter books. Like sometimes the memories overlap. Like I don't know what happened in one compared to the other, but it was such a good ending to the series, and I remember bawling my eyes out. There's one scene to where they're all like aged up, and so you have to say goodbye to the characters that you've known for so many books. And that's the good thing about series. That's what I love personally about series, is like you get to know these characters like they are your family. And I always said that I felt like these characters were people that I could just like text in my everyday life. Like I felt like they were real. So saying goodbye to them was so hard, and I absolutely loved these 2 books. But yeah, it's kind of hard for me to like tell y'all what each book was about, because I don't remember off the top of my head. So the next 5-star read I actually read just, I think, last month, and that is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is a scientist love story, student romance. Olive is a grad student. She's a scientist, and Adam is a professor. They start up a fake relationship, and I don't know. The tropes in this book were beautiful. I loved this book so much, and I rave all about it in my reading vlog that, like I said, just came out last month. So you should go watch that if you haven't already. But everything about this book was so good. I discovered Ali Hazelwood this year. I read this, and I read Check and Mate, and I absolutely loved both of those books. I think Check and Mate was like 4.5 stars. So I would highly recommend this book. It was so good, and it's so interesting the way that Ali Hazelwood writes in detail about different topics like chess or science, or she has so many other books with so many different topics, like just things, STEM, like all that stuff. It's so interesting to read about, and I ate this book up and it was so good, and I need to finish reading all of Ali Hazelwood's other books. The last book that was a 5-star read for me this year was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I cannot even believe it took me this long to read Fourth Wing. Granted, I did read it like 6 months ago. I didn't mean this is the last one, as in like I read it most recently, but I cannot believe it took me so many years to read Fourth Wing. I don't know why. So many people recommended it to me, and I obviously have seen everyone read it on YouTube, and I don't know, I just, with how much I love fantasy, you would have thought I would have read it, but it took me so long, and I fell in love with this book. I don't know if I liked it as much as ACOTAR or Throne of Glass, but it was still so good. I love Xaden. He's my baby. I love him so much. And I actually just finished Iron Flame, so I cannot wait for Onyx Storm to come out next month. I am so excited. For those who don't know, Fourth Wing is a fantasy book with dragons. The students go to a war college. This series is definitely more brutal than ACOTAR, and well, yeah, I would say it is. Like, there's a lot more killing in it, but overall, I just fell in love with Fourth Wing. The second book wasn't 5 stars, but the first one was just absolutely amazing, and I would recommend Fourth Wing to anyone. So that is all of the 5-star reads. That is every book that I gave 5 stars to in 2024. I cannot believe that there were only 5. I feel like there were more, but moving on to my least favorite. I'm actually more excited to talk about my least favorite books because, I don't know, I just want to kind of go into like a deep dive of why I did not like these books. I want to say real quick, everyone's opinion is different. Some of the books that I have in this pile, I know for a fact a lot of people love, and I just want everyone to be nice, and everyone has different opinions and loves different books. A book that you absolutely hate, I might love, and vice versa. So the first book that I did not like, and I actually almost DNF'd this book, was Normal People by Sally Rooney. This book, I think the main reason I did not like this right off the bat is that she does not use quotation marks in this book. So it's very difficult, or at least for me, it was very difficult to know when the characters were talking. You had to kind of infer that they were talking from her saying like she said or he said, and that alone just threw me off completely from the book. It really did. I also did not like how the sentences were formed. I did not like anything about this book. I really truly didn't, and I'm not trying to be mean to any of the authors, but I just could not get into this, and it was really the quotation mark thing. Like, I need quotation marks. So I almost DNF'd this, but I ended up giving this a 2-star. I do actually really want to watch the TV show. I didn't even know that there was a TV show until recently, but it has Paul Mescal in it and Daisy Edgar Jones. So I really want to watch that, and I think I honestly might start that today. So we'll see. But yeah, this was a book that I feel like was really popular for some reason, and then I read it and I was like, why? Why was this popular? I don't remember if everyone else that read it that I follow liked it or not, but yeah, not for me. The next one was Same Time Next Year by Tessa Bailey. I read this on my Kindle, and granted, this was like a short novella, but this was, honest to God, one of the worst books I've ever read. I just did not like it. I think I gave it a 1 star, and I don't know why I didn't DNF this book. I think I was doing like a reading challenge, and so I was like, I just need to push through it so that I can finish this reading challenge, but I was not a fan of this book at all. I thought that the spice, there was literally spice in every single sentence, spice that was just so unnecessary. Like, it made it so hard to read. I should have DNF'd it, but I didn't. But yeah, that was just a little short novella. The next one, guys, oh my God, is People We Meet on Vacation. I read this book for the first time it was either 2022 or 2023, and I gave it a 3 stars, and I also gave Beach Read a 3 stars. Like, I did not like Emily Henry. I was not off to a good start with her, and this year I decided to do a reread, so I ended up rereading this book and still just did not change my rating. It honestly could have gotten even worse. Like, I just do not like this book at all. It's not for me. I don't like how it was written. I'm not the biggest Emily Henry person. I've been very honest with that, but this book definitely takes the cake for the one that I dislike the most. So This one still sits at a 3 stars, which isn't horrible, but the more that I think about it, this should not be a 3 stars because there's so many books that I've rated 3 stars that I liked way more than this. So this honestly could get bumped down to like a 2. But yeah, Emily Henry's obviously very well known, very well loved, and this is an author that I just cannot get behind, unfortunately. The next one is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the author of Daisy Jones and the Six and a lot of other well-known books. I've only read Daisy Jones and the Six, but I got this book for Christmas and I didn't know how I felt about this book at first. I listened to a majority of it on I think Audible or maybe Spotify, but this book deals, I will say this book is very, very, very sad, very grief heavy. Like I teared up at this book. Like it brought out a lot of sad emotions in me, but it was so repetitive. It was basically just this widow or I don't know if she's technically a widow. I don't remember if they were married or not. I think they were, but this is basically about a widow and the guy that passed, his mother, so her like ex-mother-in-law, I guess, they just fought the whole time in this book, the whole time. And the mother-in-law was definitely in the wrong. She was very, very rude after her son's passing towards his wife, and it was just, I don't know, it was very sad when the husband died, and it made me just think about my relationship and like what I would do in this situation. But overall, this was one of the most repetitive books I've ever read that just had unnecessary information and unnecessary dialogue. And yeah, I think I gave this book a 3 stars, but again, I could honestly lower it thinking back on it. The last book, the 5th one that I disliked the most, was Kismet by Becky Chalson. I'm not sure how you say her last name. This is a book that I've never seen anyone else read. I got this from a little free library and it wasn't horrible. None of these books were just, well, some of the books I've talked about were absolutely horrible, but this one wasn't absolutely horrible. But oh my god, I just have to stop because from the angle that I'm at, I can see like under our blinds and it looks like there's a giant spider. All I see are a bunch of legs. I'm so scared right now. Okay, we're gonna hope that it's dead and I will get my boyfriend to take care of that. But yeah, this book, it wasn't memorable. Like I don't really remember what happened. I know that there was a wedding on a beach on like a small island, and you would think that those vibes would be perfect. Like I would normally love books like that, I feel like. But I don't know, I don't really have anything much to say about this. Like it just wasn't memorable, and I feel like I remember all of the books that I like, but this one was just like meh, you know, like nothing special about it. I absolutely love the cover though, like all of them sitting on the beach down here. It's really cute. I like the colors, but yeah, this was I feel like it was very YA too. I don't know if this is a YA book. It does have a wedding, but I mean, I guess there could be weddings in YA books. I don't remember there being any spice or anything. So I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the older I get, YA books just don't hit the spot for me anymore, which makes sense. YA is made for younger people and I'm getting older, you know? So like, I don't know. But this was another one of my least favorites of the year. Okay, guys, that was all 10 books of my favorite and my least favorite books. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with any of my choices, or even if you disagree, just be nice about it. I hope that you guys are enjoying all of the Vlogmas videos. We are almost done. I think there's 3 more after this video, so we're getting there. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful holiday season. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.